Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. Good morning. Tuesday, we're bringing you all your up-to-date information, news, team news ahead of West Ham. More importantly, what's going on behind the scenes at United right now. We're hearing more stories. Could the Glazers possibly have been saying goodbye at Wembley? Is that a parting shot? Is that a parting gift from the Glazers just to say, adios, see you later, United fans? We'll delve into that. There's more reports coming from Sky about United's current value that came out yesterday regarding what the New York Times was reporting and how the price drop, share price is dropping, has actually dropped the value of Manchester United to a figure that comes nowhere near what is being reported the Glazers actually want out of this sale as well. And we're going to bring in some more reports regarding the summer, financial fair play. The Athletic have been talking, the Daily Mail have been talking regarding actual sell to buy. We're going to go through a few United players who might be out of the door to make things happen for Ten Hag. How clever he's had to be in his strategies in terms of the January transfer window, in terms of the loans. He wanted more, he didn't get it. The summer is going to be very difficult again, whether the Glazers go or not. So there's reports all over that. And guys, we're going to get your interactions as well. Mark's not available today. He's just having his pool table levelled out in his man cave at home. It wasn't quite set right. If you follow Mark on social media, you've seen him put that post up as well at weekend. But no, he's having some work done and he's not available for today. So I'm going to be with you, whether you like it or not. Just deal with it, people. This is it. United, after that weekend, obviously I was there at Wembley. So too were many Manchester United fans, not just inside the stadium, outside the stadium, but one man who was there that got boos. The only boos we heard the whole game, or the whole time we was in Wembley or around it, was when the camera panned onto Avram Glazer there. For me, it was just like a shot to the gut, to be honest. Him actually being there at Wembley, it's embarrassing. I feel like it's just taking the mick out of Manchester United fans. There's a lot more I could say, but I can't say at 10 o'clock that I'd really want to say. But for me, him being there was just like an insult. That's how I'll do it. But some people are reporting, whether the report's reliable or not, was that just a way of saying goodbye? The last time are we going to see the Glazers possibly? We don't know. With the way things are going at the moment, we're going to get into this later on in the show as well in terms of the details of the sale again and where we're up to and stuff, because there's a lot more updated reports going on. But the Glazers been there. If we say, for instance, do get to any more finals at the end of this season, because we're still in the chase, like I said in my fan vlog, if you watch me, the treble is on. So we've still got the Europa League, we've still got the FA Cup. Will they be turning up to them? Or will the sale be that far down the line by then, if it is for sale, that the Glazers might not be there? Could we see anyone else be in place there? Potential buyers possibly being at these events instead of the Glazers. But let's get into what actually happened at Wembley in terms of the Glazers. You've all seen the scenes. I think it was... we had Avram Glazer there. We obviously had Sir Alex Ferguson there. Martin Edwards was there as well. Obviously, we have a lot of dignitaries there when the players were coming through. It just pains me to see Avram Glazer just mopsing around there in the background next to Sir Alex Ferguson. Obviously, no one can say anything when the man that pays your wages is actually stood next to you. It's like, who's going to say anything? It's just really annoying. It's like he just turned up just to wind everybody up. But I remember there was one moment there, and I don't know if anyone else picked up on it. I was watching some scenes and watching some video footage because I wanted to hear what Sir Alex Ferguson said. Sky got a little bit of an interview with him, so I was intrigued. But in the background and the sort of video footage on Sky around that moment, I seen David De Gea came through, and I don't know if it was just me, but it did seem to like blank Avram Glazer. I was actually laughing if he did. It was brilliant, but he might have done it. He might have shook his hands off camera. I don't know, but he just seemed to look like... It seems to look like the odd one out. It's like Virgil van Dijk in that best FIFA team. Just looked like the complete odd one out. It didn't look like he belonged there. That's what I would say. And yeah, everyone knew who everyone else was. So when staff are coming through, players are coming through, everyone's shaking hands, and then there's Avram stood on the end like a spare part. Just doesn't look like he belongs. He doesn't belong at Manchester United. In a lot of Manchester United fans' eyes, well, pretty much every single United fan's eyes. Let's not beat around the bush. But for me, it just looked like he just turned up because he could. He wouldn't be safe coming to Old Trafford for him. He would not be welcome. We all know that. The fans were chanting Glazer out, even when United were we're winning, and it was like a procession towards the end. The trophy was in the bag. Newcastle were getting nowhere near us. The fans were singing Glazers out. And it's like people in the comments there, when they say it's like a party pooper, a party crusher. That's what it felt like. It just felt like, you know what, I just don't want to see you. I don't want to see your face. No one wants to see your face. And it was just one of them moments that soured it a little bit. And sitting very close to certain people in that royal box, obviously he was going to get on camera. There was a moment when Sir Alex Ferguson came on camera and the crowd cheered and everyone was still in the same shot. And it's like, it just didn't feel right. As a United fan in that moment, it didn't feel right. And it kind of put a little sour taste towards the end of the actual day, which was brilliant at Wembley, and Manchester United picking up a trophy. Lots of people then have been talking regarding how the Glazers getting a bit of a buzz for it again. Days out at Wembley, trophies being won, United actually up there at the top table of world football again. And now the Glazers actually thinking or rethinking, actually, well, we could make something of this. I still believe that the Super League was the be-all and end-all for the Glazers, and that was the last chance of them making money. Outside investment coming into Manchester United is the only way the Glazers survive. There are rumours about that and what is going on, but I'm going to start just by bringing up... just going to bring up a quick super chat there from Perth Luxury. It says, treble, why not a possible quadruple? Now, there's positivity, and then there's positivity. That's definitely the latter. Even I would say four's too much, even for this team and how well we're doing at the moment under Ten Hag. And I feel like everything's possible with Ten Hag. But yeah, let's just settle that. I'll take a treble. That's enough, isn't it? Treble's enough. But yeah, I want to first of all get into some news regarding where we're up to in terms of Manchester United as a club and the ownership and everything involved. If you go onto the United Twitter feed there, the quotes are all there. I was watching Sky yesterday. I was catching up with everything after the final, and Have from Sky was on talking. Cave was on Sky talking regarding what the New York Times was reporting, how Manchester United's value had dropped because the share price had gone down 17% in less than a week, with just the news that the Glazers were thinking of staying on at Manchester United, gone down to just over $20 a share. That then, according to the Business Times and everything like that, would value Manchester United at 1.3 billion. 1.3 billion seems a big divide there from the 6 billion that the Glazers are asking. So we're at a stage now, and I listened to it a bit more in detail, and what he was saying, it's like we've not heard anything since Sir Jim Radcliffe put his name in the hat and the bid went in. Obviously, the Qatari bid also went in, but from that moment, we've heard nothing. We just don't know. We don't know what's going on. The next stage would be for Manchester United to then say, right, OK, we're happy with the initials. We've done all the checks on that. Here are Manchester United's books. Time to go through the finances. And then they could calculate the books and put forward their official bid for Manchester United. That's what's happening next. According to Sky and Cave, he's saying we should hear more about that in the next few days. Be interesting if we actually do, because like I just said, that everything's been a bit hush-hush. The Rain Group are keeping everything professional in terms of this. It's a lot of money, it's a big deal, and they don't want probably too much getting out there, because it seems like the stock price, shares and things are fluctuating constantly with any little bit of news that comes out, which is how the financial world works. Anything mentioning the Glazers just absolutely destroys prices right now for the football club. So I would say, if I was the Rain Group, I would suggest the Glazers just keep the trap shut and not let anything leak out. That's what I would say. But that has come out, even with success on the pitch, Manchester United right now, the price is dropping and dropping and dropping. Do the Glazers then just come out and say, and let something leak out that they are thinking of selling, and the price goes right back up again, and then they make a deal? We just don't know enough. That's the ultimate, really. We just do not know enough. Super chat from SK comes in. Avram said to have really enjoyed the Wembley Super Bowl atmosphere, felt the crowd, really appreciated their efforts. Glazers have put it in over the years. Yeah, none of that. Not interested. The Glazers, in terms of money that they've put in, is minimal, as we already know. So it's pointless talking about what commitment they've had to Manchester United because they've not used a penny of their own money. So, yeah, looking at that, yeah, he may have enjoyed his day out. It may have looked good for them that they were there, but ultimately, it's still the same. Anything with the Glazers around Manchester United, and I think just because they were there at Wembley, they lost another, God, how much? Like it went down another 9%, I think it was, to the reports that Sky are putting out, just because the Glazers look like they're actually staying. People actually who have got investment in Manchester United right now, what I've been told by journalists is they want the Glazers gone. Everything with the Glazers still involved is a catastrophe for them and their investment because it just goes down and they lose money. That's where they're at the moment. No one wants the Glazers. The investors that are in there right now don't want the Glazers because any word of them being involved in Manchester United is just going to kill their investment off as well, and they're going to lose fortunes. They are a virus in every single way through the whole football club. From the start and the debt that they leveraged on Manchester United to the people they employed in Manchester United that have got us to the stage where we are right now with the way the club has been run, the deterioration of the stadium, everything around how we've fallen behind every other club. And we're talking, no disrespect, mediocre clubs in terms of the standing in world football compared to United have overtook us in terms of developments, youth setups, academies, training grounds, complexes, everything. I mean, we went to Barcelona and their press conference, we was at the first one and obviously the second one, pre and post match, and their setup there, you felt like you was in a big club. Manchester United's second leg press conference then was one of scrambling around, squeezing everyone into a small space, extra chairs being brought in, an extra platform so you could get more cameras in, no room for every single camera. It just feels like we're just falling behind in every single way. And they're little small things, but the small things matter. And I just feel like Manchester United have a lot of work and a lot needs doing to this football club to take us back up there. On the pitch, Ten Hag is working wonders, but he's got no control over what happens off the pitch. That's down to the Glazers, and that's what I was talking about in terms of that virus. From the people invested in Manchester United who are worried that they're there because they're going to lose a fortune, to what's happened on the pitch, the managers we've gone through, the facilities, how the women's football team has taken so long to actually be put out there and brought back. There was a Manchester United football team, but then it got closed down. It's then come back. Why a club of Manchester United's stature took so long to get a women's football team out is ridiculous. And this is while the Glazers have been in charge. They had no interest at all in Manchester United's women's football team. It was kind of forced upon the club to make this happen. You've got that, then the facilities that they're training in, and we've heard rumours regarding that. It has been a complete mess, and at the top of it and the cause of all of it was the Glazers. And that is why the Glazers still being in this club in any way, shape or form, in any control, whether it's a small percentage, is just not going to work for Manchester United's future. I was watching Mark's video in terms of Manchester United going forward and the success that Ten Hag can achieve at the club. He can't perform miracles. He's going to need investment in this football club to proceed, to go forward and sustain this standard which he has brought this season. Casemiro isn't going to last forever. You need to already be looking into the future who's going to replace Casemiro. The likes of Rafael Varane, again, another player. You need to be looking already ahead. Who is the next in line? Start building up, ready for the next one. And that's what Sir Alex Ferguson did well. And in the end, he ran out of time and money because the purse strings were there. They were tight. Sir Alex Ferguson took his teams as far as he could under the Glazer ownership. And that is the case right now. Ten Hag is brilliant. And this summer he had over 200 million spent. It's going to need a minimum half of that, 3/4 of that every single season. And that's not just on players. That's investment into the infrastructure as well. Because it's not there. It isn't there. Look what Manchester United have done right now with their youth team and what we've managed to bring through. Garnacho saved us an absolute fortune in terms of another forward player coming in. And there are good things there at Manchester United that are working right now, but it needs investment behind it and backing to actually keep that going with the Glazers in charge, we know there is no money coming in, no extra money coming into this football club, and we are going to be strangled. Ten Hag is going to be strangled. The pressure will then come on him. And as we already know, the fall guy at every football club is the manager. He has got everything out of these players and the ones that were failing, and we look like we've got a squad right now. Believe it or not, somehow we've got a squad that I feel we can challenge all the way to the end of the season, and why I'm confident, and why I said United should be looking at that treble. The league, we just stay as close as we can, and it helps us finish top 4. I'm looking at everyone scrambling around us at the moment, teams playing more games than us, and they're nowhere near us. The gap from 5th to us just keeps widening. That's what happens when you aim for the top. Below you takes care of itself, and that's what Ten Hag has done. He's made a challenge for every single game. He's took it game by game. He's not looked too far ahead. He's played his strongest team possible. And that's where we're in the situation now where Manchester United are comfortably in top 4. We've got a trophy in the bag, and it's bonus time, because everyone would have snatched your hands off for this position now on one trophy. The League Cup, whatever it may be, everyone would have taken that. And right now, we're into bonus territory, aren't we? It's going that well. I've not been this excited. You can tell from my voice, I can't even get my words out. But I have not been this excited for a Manchester United team, squad and manager and the prospects going forward. The only thing that sours it is, like I said, great day at Wembley, everyone Glazers there. Go away. Just leave. Just get out. Go. Go and take your money and go somewhere else. Go and invest more into American franchise where you belong. Yeah, do you know what I mean? The future, I can see it. And then there's the Glazers hampering it. I can see it in every way, every department. The finances, the investors, the squad, the stadium, the infrastructure, youth team, women's team, all hampered with the Glazers still in charge at this football club. Yes, everything needs to be looked at in terms of new owners, and some people would say it's better the devil you know. You don't know what's coming into Manchester United after the Glazers. It might not be all rainbows and unicorns bouncing around everywhere. It's not ideal if you don't know. But what we do know with the Glazers in charge is this club will never be able to compete at the highest level. Ten Hag will take us there, but he won't be able to stay there. I totally agree with what Mark said on his video, I think it was yesterday, when he said without investment, Ten Hag will just not be able to perform what he needs to. He won't be able to perform at the highest level and get his team where it needs to be, where Manchester United need to be. This all goes with the Glazers, in my opinion. If there's no debt at this football club, Manchester United are self-sufficient. They can sustain themselves and run as a football club should run. The money that comes into this football club should be available to buy any player. But that actually does take me on to the next bit now. I do want to get your involvement into this as well, guys, because Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic has put a tweet out this morning, a story out in The Athletic talking about how Manchester United have had to negotiate this January transfer window because there's no money. Obviously, Ten Hag has had to be a bit savvy in the loan market. And looking ahead to the summer, as you can see on your screen there, it looks like, from what Laurie Whitwell is saying, Manchester United are going to have to sell to buy when it comes to actual investment in the playing squad. Now, you look at it, and I understand it in a way. Everything that Manchester United spent in the summer was on a revolving credit scheme, so that wasn't the club's money. It was like a company credit card, for instance. And that's been, if you add that to the actual debts that are already at the football club, that takes us close to $1 billion that this club is in debt. Because we're not going to be able to pay that credit card off. I say credit card, I'm just using credit card as an easy way to talk about the revolving credit facility that we have in place. But how are you supposed to pay that off unless you're competing at the highest level, getting the sponsors in? Let's not forget, TeamViewer are leaving Manchester United. They're just hanging around until someone takes the reins. So United officially right now are in no man's land with a sponsorship as well. So Champions League money is there. That is going to help. A new sponsor comes in, that will help. But United ultimately, with the playing staff as it is right now, have to sell to buy. So I want to get your involvement, guys. We're going to put a couple of polls up in the chat right now. Discuss who we think has got value that might actually be leaving Manchester United this summer. These are not players that I necessarily say have to go. I've probably talked about them in the past, but we're going to be realistic about this in terms of what has been reported, what the newspapers, what the media is saying is looking likely in terms of outgoings for Manchester United, and then we'll see what sort of pot we can make amongst ourselves here on the United Stand. for the summer and what Ten Hag has got to actually spend. There's a few people saying Maguire. Actually, I'm just going to read a couple of quotes out from what Maguire has said because he's been talking as well after the final. I'm going to bring them up now. They actually are on the United Stand Twitter feed as well, guys, if you want more information. Harry Maguire insists Ten Hag thinks he is a top centre-half despite the lack of minutes for Manchester United and claims he doesn't have the mixed emotions over the Carabao Cup triumph after starting on the bench. Harry Maguire's been starting on the bench for a lot of games right now. I feel like the club is at fault here just as much as what people would probably have a go at Harry Maguire for saying. This is not Harry Maguire's fault that he's having to say these sort of things. He has been made club captain, the club have made him club captain, and he's the one who has to sometimes do these interviews and talk the way he's talking. I also want to contribute to the team. I am the club captain, and I have a big responsibility on and off the pitch, so it's nice to get on and help the lads out. Harry Maguire's quote there at one. The manager tells me honestly, he speaks to me daily, and he really respects me and believes that I am a top centre-half with the attributes to play in his team. That's all opinion-based, obviously. We can all decide on what we want. Harry Maguire saying he's club captain, he was brought on. I was kind of hoping it didn't happen because I didn't want any awkward moments. For me, being at Wembley, I probably reacted to it a bit over the top, like I do in the game situation. Emotions are running high. I understand why it happens. I mean, I'm old enough to remember Steve Bruce and Brian Robson lifting the Premier League trophy together for the first time when we won our first Premier League trophy in 92-93. And we had Steve Bruce, who was the main captain, and Brian Robson coming to the end of his career. Now, I'm not, before you even get into it, even comparing Brian Robson to Harry Maguire. Don't even go there. Let's not. But Bruno Fernandes is my captain. Like I said with Avram Glazer being there, just awkward moments that can be avoided. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he's the owner of the club. He's got every right to turn up to the final. I'm not saying that. But the captaincy side of things, did Harry Maguire need to come on? I don't think he did. I think we were fine. I understood why. A little bit more stability at the back if there was high balls going in. But when Harry Maguire came on the pitch, I thought Newcastle's main threats had already left. Eddie Howe had just given up. It was like he was giving losers' medals out, giving players minutes on the pitch. But for me, I think Harry Maguire didn't need to come on, and I thought straight away, it's like, there's an awkward moment right there. What's Bruno Fernandes thinking right now? He's basically carried United through this season as a captain, and not him carrying his performances, but as the captain, I feel like he's set a standard and an example of how all captains should be. His sheer determination and will to win, even if his form hasn't been great at certain times this season, is the type of captain that I love. You may differ. Let me know what you think in the comments. But for me, I just feel like it just caused an awkward moment, and it did look kind of awkward to have them picking that trophy up for me. I would have just said, if I was Harry Maguire, I would have just said, go on, Bruno, you lift it up, you deserve it. I think a club captain would get so much more, and Harry Maguire would have got so much more respect, and he's got every right to pick it up, I know. And like he said, he is the club captain. I'm not having a go at that. I'm just trying to look at that scene, and the players, and you could see the players on the camera and on the pitch. It's like, Diogo Dalot was pushing Bruno Fernandes. No, you go, you have to. Bruno was about to let Harry Maguire lift that trophy, and his teammates were forcing him up onto that platform. It could have been avoided. That's all I'm saying. It left a bit of a sour taste. It's not Harry Maguire's fault. It really isn't his fault, and I'm not having a go at him. He is the club captain, and he has every right to go and pick that trophy up. But I just felt it made it a little bit awkward for me. So he is the first one I'm going to bring up on the poll because there has been a lot of reports about Harry Maguire's future. He talks about Ten Hag there being him still being a decent centre-half, a top-quality centre-half. He has got a future. I'm not saying he's horrendous. He is a good centre-back. He has got qualities. I mean, look what Southgate does with him with England. He always performs well in an England shirt. But I would say, going off reports, Harry Maguire would be the first one in the poll. So we'll just do a general 4 options, prices. Let's see what poll wins. Let's see what vote wins in the poll. We're going to go, I think it's fair just to go 20, 30, 40, 50. 50 is pushing it, but his England form may attract that value. 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million. They're the options. Be realistic, people. I know you've got your opinions on players and if you don't like them, but look at what he did in the World Cup. How well he performed there. Players, managers at different clubs and owners will look at that and go, there's a leader there somewhere in Harry Maguire. Poll is up in the chat right now, people. Let me know what you think for Harry Maguire. He's our first one. I'm only bringing these players up because these are what's been reported. I'll say that again. This is not necessarily our opinion on the United stand or mine. We're not setting out an agenda against certain players. It's just what the media and the press are saying is being reported right now. Interesting to see what this poll... See, I think that's fair. The way the poll's going right now, with over 1,000 votes straight away, I would say 20... I would have thought 20 would have been favourite, personally, but 40 million is 29% for Harry Maguire. I think that's realistic. 30 million is at 45%, leading the way. I think everyone would say, look, in terms of a contract and how much you've paid for a player and how long he's been at the club, I think United have got their value out of Harry Maguire if we get 30 or 40 million. His contract has gone halfway through and you get another 40 million, therefore he's done half of his contract, you've got half of his value back, you've cut your losses, and that's in the financial world of football finances, how clubs would look at it and they would accept that. You've had your worth out of him, there you go. You're also getting rid of £200,000 a week in wages. So, for me, if we have to sell to buy in the summer, Harry Maguire being... Here's one for you. I mean, what he said he has 2... I remember the interview. He had 2 centre-halves, full international centre-halves ahead of him. Let's be honest. 2 World Cup winning centre-halves ahead of him at Manchester United now. So, yeah, you could say he's third on the list, but then... I'm sorry, if you're not being picked, if one of them 2 is not available as the next centre-back and Luke Shaw is coming in ahead of you, are you not 4th choice at centre-back right now at the football club? I would say Victor Lindelof is happy where he is and would accept a bit-part role at Manchester United more than what Harry Maguire would. I think Harry Maguire has bigger expectations, and whether you agree with that or not, that's entirely up to you. But I think Harry Maguire thinks he should be getting more game time, personally. So I think Victor Lindelof would be happy to be 3rd or 4th choice. He knows his role. And I think, personally, Harry Maguire would be the more likely centre-back to leave Manchester United. I'm not even going to bring in the others that are out on loan. I'm looking at players right now. I expect Eric Bailly and Alex Telles to be sold. Cheap player in the summer. There's no future for them at Manchester United. I think that's quite clear in the way we performed this season, and they're not even going to be part of this process. But I mean, for the sake of time, I think we'll give this Harry Maguire poll 5 more minutes on the votes. All right, we're not going to give it 5 more minutes. I've been told to go fast now. We're going to wrap up the Harry Maguire poll. So get your votes in quick. 1 more minute. Okay, it's gone. Yeah, forget it. You didn't get another minute. See, it just happens the way it is. Yeah. 44% have said 30 million for Harry Maguire. 27% thought 20 million, 23%, and 50 million, 4%. I think that's realistic. We'll go with 30 million in the pot. The United stand pot for this summer spend is at 30 million. Moving on to the next player. I'm going to bring in Scott McTominay, only because there's been rumours about the Newcastle move. I think Scott McTominay's acceptance of his role, like I was saying, Victor Lindelof was. Personally, I think he's happy where he is. He's not on big wages. He's an academy player, and you have your opinions on Scott McTominay, whether you think he's good enough or not. A lot of people, when United were winning trophies, didn't have a problem with Phil Neville, John O'Shea, Nicky Butt in that midfield role. I think it's just because we've been so bad over the last 10 years. Some players' sort of performances get highlighted more. And in social media, like that wasn't around then when them players that I just mentioned were about. Would they have got the same rap as Scott McTominay. He's had a good start to the season. He's got off a little bit. He's lost his place to one of the best midfielders in the world. No discredit in that, in Casemiro. Some people saying Casemiro is now the signing of the season. I've seen opposition fans doing videos saying that this is the case. Casemiro is the signing of the season. It's another show, another debate probably. But Scott McTominay to Newcastle has been a big rumour. Everyone, you always hear these stories about Scott McTominay. By the way, the poll is going to be the same pricing set up again for Scott McTominay. I know 50 is probably pushing it a bit, but it's going to be 20, 30, 40, 50 for Scott. I think that's fair because I do think that some people will see value in him. Oppositions always talk about how good Scott McTominay is. And like I said, I think Scott McTominay knows his role at the club, so it's going to be an awkward one. Only through Fred's performances recently under Ten Hag, I've not brought him into this poll because I think Fred comes ahead of Scott McTominay now. I think he is playing better. I think he's definitely found his mojo and his place in the team. Scott McTominay's on 60k a week, by the way, people. Like I said, he isn't. I think he's one of the lowest earners at Manchester United. Are you happy with him being a squad player? Do you think United should sell him? If there is a player in your team that you can replace with someone better, should you not be doing that? If you want to go forward, and that counts for every player in every position at this football club. Scott McTominay has a role, yes, as a squad player, but is he going to help us go forward? Are you happy with him to stay there on 60k a week and come on like he did in the final and have these bit parts? You may see him against West Ham on Wednesday. He has a role to play. The poll is up, people. Get in the chat. Wow, that's going quick. Nearly 1,500 votes already. Scott McTominay, what is his value? A lot of people going in early doors here on the 30 million for Scott. 47%. See, that's hard to overturn in what time we've got left on this poll. 40 million, is a 14% saying that. 3% saying 50 million. Yeah, I don't think Scott McTominay is a £50 million player. But 30 million definitely leading the way now, just coming up to 1,700 votes on that one. Keep them coming, guys. We're going to run that for a couple more minutes because there's a couple more players we want to get into. A couple of super chats just want to bring up. Can we pay clubs £10 million to take Maguire off us? No, we can't. We have to be run as a business, Nicholas. I see where you're going with that one, but that's not happening. I'm sure there was another super chat up there. I'm just going to double check before we finish up on Scott McTominay's poll. Nope. I must have been seeing things. Oh no, there it is. There it is. I found it. And I've lost it again. Sorry. This is just what happens. Big says, get rid of McTominay, fairly get to spend some... actually, I can't even read that one. Yeah, it's not even worth it. I'm good job I did look at that one first, actually. But, yes, keep it clean, people, please. Where are we at? Scott McTominay, we're going to finish it up. Over 2,000 votes in. Can we finish that poll, please? As time is running out. And we are done. Where are my results? As I thought, yeah. Winning that one, 30 million for Scott McTominay again, 47% of the vote. Not bad. 30 million plus 30 million for Harry Maguire, that's 60 million. Come on, buy another Casemiro for that. Super chat from SK. In order, Harry, Hendo, Martial, Tellers by Brandon McTominay, over 100 million easy. Well, we'll see. We're already halfway there, SK. Cheers for the super chat. Next player on this list is Mr. Demick himself, Anthony Martial. This one is going to be awkward because you have to realistically look at Martial and say, is anybody going to want to invest in a player that's had such a dreadful injury record? Do we just need to cut our losses? Do we take a cut price for Martial? It's the same pricing set up again in terms of the poll and vote. I'm going to be really intrigued to see what people think because myself, a lot of United fans do rate Anthony Martial. But you have to look at it realistically. When you're looking in as a potential buyer for Anthony Martial, what are you buying? You're not buying consistency because of his injury record. Is anyone going to want to buy him at all? On big wages. I'm right in thinking that Martial is on 350 bags a week. Now alone we would save a lot of money in terms of his wages if he just wasn't at the football club. And obviously with the structure, financial fair play, the new rules that UEFA are bringing in where the club has to balance its books regarding revenues, then player wages and the wage bill. Martial, if you're going to offer David De Gea a new contract, 125 grand less a week, which is reported, and Anthony Martial is going to be on over 100 grand more than him, you can see how that's going to cause friction amongst players, agents, how they look at things. It can be a bit awkward. Martial, 20 million is leading the vote right now on Tony. I do believe that is, for me, that's realistic. I think Martial, 20 million, it wasn't 50 million down the drain because he's never going to win the Ballon d'Or. Let's be honest, that was part of his contract. So I think we've had, I think when you look at the time he spent, the goals he scored, just about, if we get 20 million, I think we've earned on Martial. I do. I think he's played his part. I just feel like it's come to an end. It's too much for him. It's not so much that he's got a recurring injury right now, which is a problem. It's the fact that he's getting new injuries all the time. He's just one of them players that... 250 a week, sorry, Martial. He's one of them players that just, like I said at the start, he's a demic, isn't he? You're always worried. He's made of glass, and every time he goes down, your heart's in your mouth thinking, how long's this one? That's automatically what I think now. When Tony goes down, I automatically start thinking, oh no, here we go again. How long's this one going to be a layoff for? Even Ten Hag has said we had to bring him off because we're scared of him getting injured. We can't play him. I think it was the derby. He had a productive, if not what some fans were saying, a lazy first half, but he held his position well and he played his part in that derby early doors, kept his shape, and City were finding it difficult to get through into our midfield because of Martial's positioning. But we can't play him for 90 minutes. I feel like the bare minimum should be every single player needs to be available to play a 90-minute game. If you can't play for 90 minutes when you're at his age, then there's something drastically wrong, and that's going to cause a problem, and it will cause a problem in terms of Martial when it comes to selling him. Well over 2,000 votes for Martial. It's close. This is the closest one we've had, between 20 and 30 million. I think that's a fair price, considering everything that I've just spoken about with his injury record. Some people are still saying he's worth that 50 million. 7% of you think 50 million for Martial. Ooh, I wouldn't go that far. I think that's definitely out of it. 40 million, no, I don't think we could get that. Someone has to be really keen on that. It's his wages as well. Who can afford his wages? It's going to have to be a cut price, 20 million, I feel. And then some sort of subsidising with his wages, maybe a signing on fee. So I think United, in terms of what they take out of it, you're probably looking more around that 20 million mark. I think that's realistic. And I think United come out with that okay in the end there. I really do. Let's wrap up that vote. There's 1% in 20 and 30 million. Maybe it's 25 million in between. I'm going to stick with 20 million. And that is officially on the United stand so far. 3 players sold. And again, this isn't a United stand agenda on these particular players. This is just what's been reported as the likely outgoings within the media. Martial, Maguire, McTominay has raised 80 million so far. 80 million. Who can we buy? What position? Is there anyone on our radar right now? In terms of... actually, I'm going to do another poll. I'm going to do a couple more outgoings, but I want to make a poll in terms of priority signing in the summer. So say, for instance, United have 100 million to spend. Let's go Osimhen as the centre forward, because he has to be top target for his age and what future value we have in him. I like Harry Kane. I do. I think he'd be brilliant. But I think Osimhen has to be the realistic one. If United are looking ahead, that has to be top target. I think Kane comes close behind. Only Kane comes in if it's the right money, which I don't think it will be. So Osimhen, I would say, is the top forward target. Central midfield, there's a few here. I don't think we could get De Jong. I think Rice is realistic. I think I would say Bellingham, depending on Liverpool. There's rumours now that Dortmund are happy to keep him there and he's happy to stay another year while Liverpool actually get themselves back in some form of fit shape. Another midfielder in that mix. We do need another central midfielder, in my opinion. Priority, let's just say, it's between Declan Rice and Bellingham for me. Declan Rice, everyone's got their opinion on him and his value and everything like that. Or maybe I should just do the poll as the positions that we need to attack more rather than the actual midfield. Caicedo in midfield, yes. So if United raised enough money to buy one key position, what's the priority? That's the poll I want to do. Let's go central midfield, attack, centre forward, another centre back. I do believe we need another centre back. And we could possibly bring the goalkeeper into that as well, even though De Gea and the old debate, and De Gea is getting better. But I just feel like we're stacked in every other position. For the sake of a four-way poll, let's just go right down the spine of the team. Centre forward, centre midfield, centre back, goalkeeper. Where are you spending most of the money when we've raised it? That poll should be up in a minute. Kim Min-jae is a very good one. Ben Bruce, I'm agreeing with that one. I do like the look of him, but I just don't believe we could destroy... I don't think we can destroy Napoli that much in one summer. And there's no way, with them having the season they've had and what they're fighting for, that they're going to give up on two of their best players, best performers. That's where we're at. So I'm thinking Manchester United right now are looking at these key positions in that pecking order. For me, I'm just going to go through it right now. I would say centre forward priority, centre back, centre back, centre midfield, goalkeeper, in that order. I would say that's where the priority should be. But guys, it's your vote. Let me know what you think. Yeah, it's going that way. Over 1,000 votes in, 0 saying goalkeeper, 3% centre back, 10% central midfield, and 87% saying centre forward. Super chat from SK again. New financial fair play amortization method of 5-year contracts. Muppeteers worked out it would get 30/40 million in sales. We can spend 200 million with 100 million. Can do a lot. Yeah. If you manage to get what we said you can get for the players. If United do have to sell, then the players that we've brought up in the polls, I think, are the more likely to give you value. We can say other players, but are they really going to bring money into Manchester United? I think the stock on a lot of Manchester United players right now is as highest it's ever been because of how we're performing on the pitch. So I think the realistic look in the polls that we've done is these are players that have been reported could possibly be leaving Manchester United, but also add value and actually have got a bit of stock about them, I feel. Let's just see how this poll's doing right now. Yep. 86% on centre forward. I think it'd be interesting to know what people think in terms of the centre forward, which centre forward you actually want. And if a few players you could actually pick out on that. I don't know if the producer wants to do a poll on the centre forward after this one. 4 options on a centre forward United could possibly buy. Maybe I'll get a whisper in my ear in a minute. Oh, looks like it might be happening already because they've round that poll up. General consensus is we need a centre forward, people. I think that we can say wholeheartedly, safely, is a must. Okay, so as we're talking right now, we are getting updates. The press are all over everything going on right now with Manchester United. A few more have come out. Samuel Luckhurst has come out. This is on United Stand Twitter feed as well. Ten Hag is open to a second pursuit of Frenkie de Jong amid ongoing financial issues at Barcelona. Also, Ten Hag would endorse a move for Jude Bellingham if he is receptive to joining Manchester United. Also from Samuel Luckhurst, irrespective of the situation surrounding possible takeover of Manchester United, player sales are necessary to comply with UEFA's financial sustainability laws. United sources have indicated funds from any player sale would underpin a move for a midfielder. Midfielder? Is that priority? Are United looking at midfielder as priority? I understand all the financial fair play So it doesn't matter how much money, if we've got a new owner in or not, the debt's cleared, Manchester United do still have to sell. So it makes it even more relevant as to what we're doing right now in the poll and who we realistically think has got value for us to then go out and buy someone else with. The third one from Samuel Luckhurst. Manchester United have prioritised a new goal scorer, and Ten Hag is also pushing for a midfielder reinforcement. United could also recruit a centre-back to bolster their defence if Harry Maguire leaves. Kind of falls right into what we were talking about there. Total agreement with all them, from what Samuel Luckhurst has said in terms of how I look at United moving forward. Striker, midfielder, centre-back, and if you did want to go for a goalkeeper, that comes way down the list. I think left-back and right-back. I personally wouldn't sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka right now. I think he's been a bit of a game changer recently. Like, he has found, again, another player who's found his mojo. I think right-back were good. Nailed down the contract of Dalot. I think contracts are very important as a priority right now for the players that are performing. You don't want to disturb the vibe and the momentum that's going on at the football club right now. Diogo Dalot is a major part of Manchester United moving forward and the good vibes and that feel-good factor right now. You can see it, the encouragement, and he's one of these players that winds the fans up, gets them going. He plays with his heart on his sleeve, and I think he is a fan favourite. I think a contract for Dalot has to be up there as a top priority as well for Manchester United this summer. We spoke to him at Carrington here on the United Stand, and he said he doesn't want to be anywhere else. He wants to be at Manchester United, and the talks are ongoing. So Diogo Dalot, massive part of Manchester United's future. I think that has to be up there on the priority list as well. Kareem says Vlahovic, Frenkie and Timber are incomings, possibly incomings. Definitely. I mean, Vlahovic, definitely one of them striker options for us. I think that in terms of strikers, if we were just going to finish up with a poll on the strikers, I would say Osimhen, Kane, Vlahovic, Ivan Toney, they're names that spring to mind straight away that would all improve Manchester United as a signing. Obviously, values on each of them values on each of them will differ, definitely. Osimhen will be the dearest. There is a poll there now, guys. Get voting on that poll. Osimhen, Kane, Vlahovic. Comment on another striker, whether it be Ivan Toney, like I just said there, or is this someone else? Get your votes in on that one now. Early knockings on that one would say that Osimhen is favourite amongst the United fan base. Well, here on United Stand anyway. So yeah, looking ahead there, I would say, I think striker it has to be. Whether or not, how many guys would you keep Weghorst? I know we did a show here on United Stand on it the other day. Do you make it permanent for cheap? Another one I want to talk about in terms of them targets there. The way financial fair play is at the moment, and this is also on the United Stand Twitter feed as well, because Marcel Sabitzer has been talking, and Fabrizio Romano has been talking about Marcel Sabitzer on his YouTube channel. He was on the United Stand yesterday as well, and he is down for staying at Manchester United. He loves working under Erik Ten Hag. If financial fair play is at the level it is and we're restricted in what we can spend this summer, is it not worth investing the reported 25 million for this guy? You've seen what he did when he came on at Wembley the other day, how good he is. He's adapting very, very quickly to the Premier League. I think he's got the right attitude for Ten Hag. And knowing that Ten Hag has brought him in already, I just think to have him still at the football club in the summer at such a cheap price, giving us another option in midfield, I think it's a no-brainer. I would go all in on keeping Sabitzer at the football club. If it is the 25 million, I think there's still room to buy a striker and another midfielder on top of that. If we do what we should do as a football club in terms of the outgoings, and we are clever in the transfer market, I mean, guys, let me know in the comments. Let me know who that striker is for you, but also let me know about Sabitzer. Would you keep him if it was 25 million? The decision on Marcel Sabitzer's future at Manchester United will be made at the end of the season. Marcel Sabitzer would be really happy to stay at Manchester United. He is He is loving his relationship with Ten Hag at the football club. 2 quotes there from Fabrizio Romano that are on the United Stand Twitter feed. Just check them out, people. They're on your screen now as well. Let me know, Sabitzer, would you keep him? If it's 25 million, it's an absolute no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. You have to keep that guy in this squad. He is perfect when we have moments like when we lose Casemiro. He's got the experience of playing at the highest level. His quality on the ball, tenacious, energetic. He's got everything at Manchester United. And I think, more importantly, Ten Hag would want in a player. I think he'd be a brilliant signing for a permanent deal. And Sabitzer, his salary would increase, obviously. Bayern Munich, in terms of what they do and their structure of wages, is, well, German football is a lot more organised, I would say, in terms of how clubs are run than what the Premier League is. 50k a week at the moment. That would go up, but I think would still come under Manchester United's new structure of wages and how much players actually earn. I think, for me, Scott McTominay earns more than Marcel Sabitzer. Let that sink in for a minute. That's pretty wild. But I think United would easily offer him a contract that he'd be happy with, even if that's like another 25k a week, 75 grand a week, 25 million. Wow. Yeah, I'm just throwing out 75k there as an example. It may be more. His agent may try and get more because it's Manchester United, obviously, as agents would do, try and take United to the cleaners. But I think that saves us a fortune in the summer. And he's there just in case we have to put all our eggs in the striker basket. I do believe we've got a real player in Sabitzer, and I think he has and will contribute massively to the success of this season. He already has done. Let's not kid ourselves. He has been excellent in the games he's played in so far this season. Right, so the information I was given was wrong. It happens on live shows. 165 he's on. Yeah, we're paying 55. But still, in terms of the structure, Manchester United having to pay another 100 grand a week for a player of that quality, it still fits in under a lot of what United players are on right now, and he would be nowhere near the top half of our squad in terms of top earners, even on that amount of money. So yeah, I think, sorry about that mistake, by the way. It did seem a bit cheap, didn't it, actually? But Adam, if we keep Sabitzer, would that mean the end of Donny? Says Kareem. It's a good question. He's the forgotten man, isn't he, Donny van der Beek? Yeah, it would. We could actually put Donny van der Beek on that list of players to go out, I think, to finish this show off. I think one more poll. Donny van der Beek, 20, 30, 40, 50 million. I think that's fair. I would go around the 20 million mark personally. I think that's what Donny van der Beek is worth. If Sabitzer stays, that would pretty much be the nail in the coffin for Donny. I think he's finished at Manchester United. I don't mean that in any sort of clinical, horrible way. He's not good enough. I do think he has got qualities, and I thought we were buying a great player when we brought him in at the club at that price. But you have to realistically look at it now. If United are going to have to compete under these new financial fair play rules, you know, because there is a team in Manchester that does abide by the rules, then I think Donny van der Beek has to be taken into consideration as one of them players that will earn Manchester United a bit of money. The 4 players that I've mentioned, Scott McTominay, Harry Maguire, Donny van der Beek and Anthony Martial. In our success this season, would you say we are losing anything in them players? Because if I go off the votes, and I can clearly see where the vote for Donny is going already, and I add up the value of them players, realistic prices as well, Manchester United would bring in 100 million for them 4 players. Have they contributed enough for you to worry that we cannot get rid of them? I would say no. I think we've got cover for all 4 of them signings. Now, this is where United have to be savvy and clever. Even if you're saying, Adam, you're playing Championship Manager, the football world doesn't work like that in reality. Am I going to be far off? And are we far off with them prices that's been up on the poll today on the show? 30 million for Harry Maguire, 30 million for Scott McTominay, 20 million for Martial, 20 million for Donny van der Beek. Is that unrealistic? People saying there, like David said, you could also sell Henderson. there is value in Henderson as well. And I think another player, I think we've got ample cover for right now. So 100 million for them 4 players, and without even doing a poll for Henderson, you could add another 30 million. There is players there that have contributed not enough for me to worry about leaving, that Manchester United can get value in and definitely put towards the pot for the summer. I feel like that's realistic looking at it that way, and I think Manchester United will have to be looking at it like that. The club have come out and have said what the targets are. The club have come out and said realistically, we've worked in the loan market in January because we're trying to save our finances and budgeting for our main targets in the summer. That's right, that's how it should be. Manchester United have adapted and dealt with the Ronaldo situation really well, and I think we've come out of it better in January. Obviously a trophy in the bag already, but I would say realistically we have to be looking at that in the summer, and the club will as well. The club has to, because we've seen what's happening to City right now and how far this court case and everything going on with them at the moment will go, we don't know, but I think that is a possibility for United in the summer, and I think it is a reality. You've got Telles and Bailly to add to that as well, like people in the comment section are saying there. Telles, Bailly, Henderson, 50 million. Easy for them 3, plus the 100 million for the other 4. Brandon Williams, another playoff. There's plenty there for Manchester United. And that whole list, getting us near 150 million, I don't think will be missed. Honest opinion. Realistically, nothing against any one of them players at all. They've all contributed in their own way to Manchester United. Whether that's been good enough, that's up for debate. But if you're looking at it cutthroat as a business, as Manchester United moving forward, and there may be players in that list that people really like, we may get a bad rep for bringing it up and talking about it, but it's the reality of what Manchester United are right now, the way the football world works, and you have to look at it seriously. I think that is where we're at right now, and I think if we are going to be struggling in the summer in terms of what we can spend, there is a way around it. And everything should be done to back Ten Hag. If that means losing a few players to bring in the right ones that he wants, it has to be done. That pretty much sums up today's video, everybody. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Brilliant interaction with the fans, loads of people in the chats. The polls have been brilliant. Cheers for all your super chats as always. Do give the video a like on your way out. Subscribe to the United Stand. Hit that bell notification button. I will be back at 4 o'clock for Adam Talks. And that will be alongside Rob Dawson from the ESPN. We're going to get some more information on the Glazer ownership right now. Rob has been doing a lot of reporting behind the scenes on what's going on. So tune in at 4. We're going to get some more in-depth live news for you guys in terms of what's happening with the Glazers right now and where we're at, especially after everything that's been reported and come out today after the weekend. So really interesting video coming up at 4 o'clock today, everybody. Do tune in for that one. And like I said, I'll see you then. Obviously, West Ham tomorrow, lots coming up. Stay tuned, hit the bell notification. You will know when that video and everything else that's coming up will be coming up on YouTube as well. Stay tuned to the socials as well for updates on videos that are coming up as well. All exclusive here to the United Stand. Cheers for watching, everyone. We'll see you later this afternoon.